Here's a couple things that we advise you do in order to make for a smooth transition to Flex. One of the first things is just involving the right people. So whether this is your eComm specialist, a fellow user, or maybe just other people on your team who benefit from all the work that you do, I'd say get everybody in the room to start brainstorming. Let them know that Flex is being rolled out and that it's available to you now, to see if it's a priority for everybody, because it really is a pretty big lift. So the more hands, the better. I find involving your team early is really important for buy-in. So maybe they will be testing for you later, and if they're involved earlier, they're more invested in giving you quality feedback. After you've gotten your team involved, that's a good time to start planning together. So we do have a specific wiki post and video along with some other materials to help walk you through 4 items to consider before moving. This will help you determine if you should move or not, and if you do, what event would be a good one to start with. Once you've established you will be moving soon, that's a great time to start learning Flex. We do have in-person training opportunities that you can check out on our calendar, or you can watch on demand. Testing is such a critical part of any transition, and so I like to involve my team as much as possible here. As you're making your way through creating your first event, I like to constantly keep notes about what I could do better, because you often don't have time to address it when you're on a learning curve. But once that event concludes, you're able to address it in a much more productive way. Once the event's concluded, you can host a lessons learned, get everyone's feedback and hear everyone else, and prioritize what you can improve on. So some common mistakes to avoid is setting way too high of expectations. So just biting off too much too soon. Again, there is a learning curve. I would not underestimate that. And here's some common mistakes we've seen that we should definitely avoid. The biggest one is biting off too much too soon. Flex can do some awesome things, but looking at an event form that an expert created and thinking that you will be able to hop in and in your first event create a duplicate of that is not realistic. I absolutely believe you will have those fundamentals that you can build off to at some point in time create a form that complex, but not right off the bat. So picking an event with a launch date right around the corner, transitioning all your events at once, or transitioning just when it's a busy time for you and your team is definitely not ideal. And that's because you don't have to move to Flex right now. You can stay in standard. And the other thing I've seen or points of frustration is trying to replicate your standard event 100%. Flex is better than standard. It opens up a lot more opportunity. And so trying to do a duplication or a carbon copy is a disservice at that point than just stay in standard. And so I really encourage you to be inspired by all the possibilities within Flex and make your event better, not the same.